Dan Illman and Matt Bernier kicking off the late daily double at Gulfstream on Saturday. Two graded stakes races comprise this double. It's part of an all-graded stakes pick 4. It's the Grade 3 Sugar Swirl Stakes for fillies and mares going 6 furlongs. You can bet all of those wagers with a DRF Bets account. You get a 300% deposit match. Deposit 50, bet with 200. Bets.drf.com is where you need to go for all of the details. Here's the field for the Grade 3 Sugar Swirl Stakes. The number 2, Awestruck Matt, is your 2-to-1 morning line favorite. I've always been a fan of Awestruck, and last time out, she just caught a very sharp Steve Asmussen trained mare, Vertical Oak. Vertical Oak not only won that Dream Supreme, she came back to win the Garland of Roses at Aqueduct last week with a 95 buyer.
I was going to say, at least you know with Awestruck, she's coming into this in good form, facing good company. I can understand her being one of the favorites in here. Another instance, I'll be absolutely blown away if she ends up being the favorite in this spot. And I know that may sound silly just based on the fact that she finished nearly 4 lengths ahead of Dream Pauline most recently. But I think she's going to be the second choice, maybe even the third choice in here. And having said that, I think she has a big chance in this spot.
It's going to be very curious to see where she'll be placed in the early portion of this race, because Timeform US does not believe that the pace will be fast. You'll note that blue bar favors horses on or near the early lead. Awestruck has been coming from 7th in her last 2 races ever since being cut back to a sprint. She has shown more tactical speed in the past, but are you concerned that at this 6, if she has to overcome a slow to moderate pace, it might not be enough time for her?
Well, I think that's kind of what's been her undoing in each of these past 2 runs at Churchill and at Keeneland. Timeform has all those internal fractions color-coded blue. Those races both at 6 furlongs, and she just hasn't been able to get up in time. The funny thing is about those 2 races, the Keeneland race, she actually finished closer to the winner that day. She finished 6th. In the most recent run, she finished 2nd, and she was actually farther back. But I agree with you. I mean, if you believe that's how that whole thing's going to play out, there's a real scenario where she's just going to have a little bit too much to do at the very end.
I think the 3 Bronx Beauty is very dangerous, especially if that Timeform US pace projector rings true. I realize this is her first start against older horses, but this Pennsylvania bred just seems to overachieve. Last time out, she ran a sneaky good race in the Raven Run Stakes, a race the Really's come back live, considering that Shamrock Rose, the winner, came back to win the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. The runner-up came back to win the Grade 3 Comely when stretched out in distance up in New York. Timeform US really rated that Raven Run for Bronx Beauty. A 112 pace-aided number, only a 76 for Beyer. Add all that up, considering the pace situation, we may have a little value here on Bronx Beauty.
I picked her second in here. I think she's got a big chance here to upset this thing. And like you say, not only the fact that she ran as well as she did in that Raven Run, given the pace and the dynamics there, but I look at those runs from over the summer and even going back into late 2017 where she ran at Penn National. The fact that she doesn't have to have the lead, I think goes a long way. I think she may get it just by her natural speed. But if someone else is really intent, I like the fact that she can press and still be as effective. I think she's got a giant chance in here.
Which Stormy Embrace is going to show up here for trainer Kathleen O'Connell? I'm not worried about the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare sprint effort. She was almost 45-1. It was just too tough for her. The race has already produced 3 next out winners. Her race 3 back, the Grade 2 Princess Rooney at Gulfstream, she exploded to win with a 97 buyer. If she runs that race, she wins. Her subsequent effort, where she's 1-2 against state breds and she's off the board, that gets her nowhere in here. Which one shows up?
I think somewhere in between. That run 3 starts back. I don't have any kind of explanation for it. She was allowed to get out there and dictate things on a relatively soft lead, and perhaps that ultimately was the difference in there. But I just remember when I saw that race, I go, I know Stormy Embrace from Tampa Bay. That's not Stormy Embrace. And then she came back in that sheer drama, and I said, that's Stormy Embrace. That's the one that I'm a little bit more familiar with, where at odds of 1-2, she did really no running whatsoever. And like you say, don't hold the Breeders' Cup against her. I think you're going to get something probably in the mid-80 range, and perhaps that's good enough. I don't think it's going to. Maybe she's a minor award contender in here. I don't love her chances.
Strong formulator fact for an outsider. Surprise wedding goes out for trainer David Fox. Here's the formulator fact for Fawkes over the past 6 months. Recent formulator fact, older horses moving from turf to dirt. Fawkes is 7 for 13 with a $5.79 ROI. And going back in Surprise Wedding's past performances, the turf to dirt route to sprint move has resulted in a stakes win at Tampa Bay Downs back in 2017. I like this horse better at 7 than at 6. I like this horse when there's more pace than what's projected at, but that is a strong formulator fact, and you're getting Jose Ortiz this time around.
You know, I'd be a little bit more intrigued with her. I agree about the move here going from turf to dirt. I'd be more intrigued if she had a race recently under her belt, and I'd like her second off the bench, and perhaps that's what this will end up being. I recognize this is a graded stakes race, but there is still a scenario where people can look at this and say, well, okay, she probably needs this one, and maybe she'll just take a step forward and be ready next time out, and perhaps it ends up being at a track like Tampa or somewhere else. I think she's nice. I just think this spot on Saturday might be too tough.
Before we get to our top pick, let's talk about the 3 longest shots on the morning line in post-position order, beginning with the 1 Pacific Gale. We've always been fans of Pacific Gale, just hasn't turned out to be a true stakes quality contender. Maybe she didn't like the wet track last time out, but as of right now, she's just too slow. Yet to buy her 80 after 11 starts.
Which, to me, it's just a tremendous disappointment because I liked her in that Alcibiades last year, and I really thought that she was on her way to being something. And as a 3-year-old, she just hasn't improved at all. And again, in a spot like this, you're going to have to do a heck of a lot better than the 79.
Proper Discretion is a hard-hitting Ohio bred. She has won 13 of 28 starts, but you just have to wonder if she's better in those state-bred races in Ohio. She hasn't really run a fast race since September of 2017 when she went gate to wire in a stakes race at Thistledown. During that time span, her best buyer is 79.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if her run 2 or 3 starts back is enough to maybe get a nibble and get a piece of this thing. It's certainly not fast enough to win. If you do think she can get back to that Diana from back in September of 17, I think that gives her a puncher's chance in here, but I still don't love her chances.
Money or Love, I think, kind of needs a faster than expected pace to set up her kick, and she looks a little bit cheap on paper. Another horse coming in off a losing streak of about a year and a half. A little slow, but her last race was on synthetic, then slop, then turf, then layoff, then other trainers. So, I mean, if you want to really make excuses, you can, but this is a big priced horse and deservedly so.
I was going to say, she's another one of these horses that if she were to get the job done, it would just be a giant upset.
Top pick in here for us, the 7, Dream Pauline for Kieran McLaughlin. It seems like this filly has been entered everywhere and has run nowhere. She was on the also eligible list in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. She's been entered several times since. She ran in that Dream Supreme last time out, and she was no match for Awestruck. But boy, she was down on the inside. I thought she got steadied out of it entering the turn. She finished evenly. I wouldn't say it was a great finish, but maybe, Dream Pauline's the kind of filly that get her on the outside, clear of horses, she'll be okay. And she's got all the upside.
Well, I think that for me is really what it kind of boiled down to. Having seen what she's done in just only 3 lifetime starts, and like you say, that most recent run, I'm not going to hold that one totally against her. I still think there is plenty of potential here. And if you think that she gets back to that allowance race 2 starts back, she has a big chance. If you think she takes a step forward from that, she is strictly the horse to beat in here. I will be stunned if she's not the favorite come post time and somewhere in that 7 to 5 range. Maybe that's going to be too light for some people's appetite. I think she probably deserves to be that short in a spot like this. I'm expecting a good effort from her.
You're going 7-3 in here?
7-3-2.
I'm going 7-2-3 in the Grade 3 Sugar Swirl Stakes, one of 5 graded events at Gulfstream on Saturday. You can bet them all with a DRF Bets account and the 300% deposit match that goes along with it. Find out more at bets.drf.com. Approximate post for the Sugar Swirl, 4:36 Eastern. Good luck.